Welcome to part 6 of the video, which is not being covered by this magazine as usual, Fortune. Year 2020, Chinese yuan was nothing. I don't mean to say nothing. Nothing means as compared to the mammoths like US dollar, euro, Swiss franc, Japanese yen, and all. Chinese yuan was nothing. But there is a great saying in English, and that great saying is when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And I think that China is a perfect example of that. In the last 20 years, Chinese yuan dominance in the global reserve currency is very near to 5%, which means that if, as we speak, $100 worth of reserves worldwide, then China is Chinese yuan. Basically, in Chinese yuan, it is near about $5, which is credible. Let it be honest, which is credible. Chinese yuan, which is onshore, and CNH, which is offshore route, is in trillions. Trillions. Their sovereign wealth fund, which is known as CIC, they holding strategic assets worldwide, which includes Africa, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and whatnot. Rather, I say that in Asia, including Singapore, if any sovereign wealth fund is active, technically, then it is CIC of China. And United States do not have a sovereign wealth fund. That is interesting fact. How could you have a sovereign wealth fund if you are running a deficit of 2 trillion every year? The federal deficit of United States is near about 2 trillion and growing. So how could you have a sovereign wealth fund? Do not talk this about because it's a stupidity. Let it be honest. Anyways, we don't talk about this now. A very interesting fact of the life is that the growing dominance of Chinese yuan, the onshore offshore route CNY and CNH, the highly active sovereign wealth fund CIC, the right policies of People Bank of China by not hiking the rate. These all things together in another 5 years would make China as a superpower. Probably China might be replacing United States as a superpower. Because if 20 years ago, 2020, if I go with the statistics, anyone told that today the US dollar share in the FX reserves, which is near about 75%, would reduce to 60%, people laughed. But now, can you laugh? You cannot, because it's a fact that it has reduced from 75% to 60%. I personally feel that if there is no eventuality that came into the picture, which includes any act of God, any political fallout, any geopolitical event, any war China engaged, then there are bright chances that by 2026, China might be replacing United States as a reserve currency. Or if not as a reserve currency, then as a superpower. I know that in 2008, when I spoke about the SoftBank, 2018, in 2019, when I spoke about Yes Bank, Sequoia, and many other eventualities, people not trusted. Today, everything is on the Google. Everything is on the Google. I see China as a superpower by 2026. I repeat, provided there is no fallout, because I cannot predict the political fallout. I cannot predict the act of God. I cannot predict any kind of war China engaged to. But financially speaking, technologically wise speaking, the government control wise speaking, the Chinese yuan, the currency wise it is speaking, the big names like Alibaba, Tencent and all, China is way ahead than United States. And United States companies also, whether this is Microsoft, whether this is any other big company, they too have China as a big market. And they cannot just ignore it. Until otherwise, there is a big fallout, which we cannot predict. But yes, I see that China to be a reserve currency of the globe. Or if not reserve currency, then at least a superpower in another 5 years. While United States would continue to be a political fallout, you know the approval rating of Joe Biden, you know that how poorly the enforcement agencies of United States, you know that how banks behave in United States. And I personally see a fallout of US dollar, which means a rise in gold. But having said that, I'm very clear on one thing, and I repeat many times, and let me repeat again. Do not overhedge. Do not overhedge. History is witness that all exchange traded funds, hedge funds, pension funds, probably the depository institutions, those who overhedged, they always lost it. So do not overhedge. This is what I would like to convey. Rest is it is your call. This is Rahul Magan from Treasury Consulting Group. See you in the last video, which is the closing section of the video. Have a great time ahead.